Hey there, today I'm doing another illustrative gouache landscape tutorial. So for this video, I wanted to test these Lukas Studio Gouache Tempera colors. Here's the information on the back. Those are just some basic colors and I've heard quite a lot about them. I don't know if other artists like them or if they just use them because they can find them in stores. Here's the information on the back. They have some information about the pigments and everything, but I don't know a whole lot about that, so I can't even tell you if they're light fast or not. And frankly, I don't really care because I don't really like them and I don't really recommend them. The brush that I'm using is from a store called Müller. We have that one here in Austria. If you have that store, those brushes are really cool. They die pretty easily because I don't really care about them as much as I probably should, and they're pretty cheap, but I really love them for gouache. I really recommend synthetic brushes for gouache. So here you can see that I started with the sky on the right side, just a simple light blue dot, and then I did a little sketch on the other side because we're looking through this kind of window here, and I'm using a new kneaded eraser and just lightening up the sketch right now so that we don't have visible lines later on. And I mixed colors and that took quite a lot of time, but I don't really mind that as much. What I did mind with those colors was that I needed so many layers in order to get a decent result, and I know I did a very illustrative style here that needs more layers because you can see with layered pieces like that when the paint is a little bit streaky, and you just have to. Here you can see that the consistency is really weird of the green one. I mean, it didn't perform differently compared to the other colors, but it was just really weird. And I have used some colors that are probably the same product before because they did a rebrand, and I think that I've tried the older version of the same paints. And yeah, for this kind of style, I really do not recommend them. You can see here that I needed more layers. I didn't film all the layers because that video would have been so long and it's so boring to just watch me repaint all the layers. But if you need more layers, try not to get frustrated because that's a thing with gouache. Sometimes when you do a style like this, you may need more layers because it looks streaky and you just have to go back in again. I think I needed at least 3 layers, maybe 4 or 5 layers for every little thing that I painted here. And just make sure that you don't use too much paint or else it might crack because gouache isn't flexible. I didn't have that problem here, so at least there's that. But you can see here that it's super streaky, and I probably just hated them so much because I used Holbein acrylic gouache last time and I just loved them so much. And I'm gonna do a comparison video. You just have to be a little patient because I wanna really get to know the materials before I do a video like that. So I'm probably gonna do some more of these kinds of videos, maybe a different style that's not as illustrative, just to see where the strength of all those paints are. Yeah. I've painted a lot while talking. You can see that I just simplified all the shapes, and I have a reference picture here, but I tried to put it into this stylized version, and you can basically just copy all the shapes that I did here. You can use all kinds of colors. You can mix your own if you prefer different colors, or you can try to mix them as closely as you can. I can't tell you what colors those are because I mixed them myself, and I honestly don't really care too much. Just use the colors that you love. I did this little house on the top here, and then the lake here with the waterfall. I used a very light blue tone for the waterfall, and even that one took a lot of layers to look decent. But I think that I only showed one or two of these. And here I did this door with this concrete, I think, and I later on added a little bit more texture to that. And I decided that I didn't like the color of those windows, so I made them slightly darker, and I really prefer them that way. I think that it looks way better. And to add a little bit of detail, I did those lines. I just mixed a lighter tone of the color that was underneath. So in this instance, I used the green tone, added a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white to get a lighter tone of that, and just did some of those lines. And then I started to paint some rocks here. This is just basically black with a little bit of white, and maybe I also added in a little bit of blue. Just mix a dark gray tone that you like. And here I did a lighter gray tone. I just decided that it needs a little something here. I don't think that there were rocks in my reference picture, but I thought that I didn't want to do a lot of detailed greenery, but wanted to add details here, so I did those rocks. And you can see that they're super patchy. I needed to go back and repaint them as well. Just everything in this piece. I really love how those pieces turned out. I'm really happy with them. I'm really quite surprised that I like them, actually, because I was having a really hard time with those paints. And it's probably just a combination of the kind of style that I was going for and the fact that I used the absolute high-end, most expensive paints last week. And I just want to try different brands and just get to know everything a little bit more. Here you can see that I did the sky just very simple, and a very simple sea, and just more shapes for all those bushes and everything. I tried to keep it really, really simple, really in this illustrative style. In hindsight, I think that I could have added just slightly more details to the left piece. I think that the piece on the right is way more sophisticated, but I think they go really nicely together. I love the color combination because they have almost the same palette, and I think that they're really cute together. So there's that. And here I started off with this color, but I decided that it was too light, and then I added a darker tone to that and did lots of layers of each of those. And then I decided that I wanted this gradient in the sky. Here you can see my reference picture as well. This was a photo as well, and I tried to put it into this stylized version, just simplifying it a lot. And we're on the right side now, adding details here as well. I did the same thing that I did earlier, just with the rocks, just adding in those lines. I think that it adds a little something, and I think that it looks cute. So then I started to do a little bit of greenery in the foreground. I used a very dark tone for that. It was black, maybe just a little bit of white and a little bit of blue, but mostly black. And I did some branches, leaves, just some greenery in the foreground to make this more jungle-like and to give it more depth. I think that this added a lot because it just makes it so much more interesting when you have things in the background and things in the foreground, and the things in the foreground are darker, so you can really tell them apart. And here I used a slightly lighter tone, but I think that I darkened that up a little bit later just because I thought that it would need a little bit more of pop against the background. But here I'm starting to add some more to the sea, and I later regret this because I didn't like the look of this. So I changed it up a little bit, and I'm really sorry that the lighting is changing again. It's just due to clouds and stuff. And I tried to edit it out, but yeah, the sun reappears and is gone again all the time when I film with daylight, but it still looks better than with my, yeah, I don't know the word, artificial light. Yeah, that's the word. Here you can see that I darkened everything up again, and it's not black, but it's almost black. And I tried to use a Posca pen for some little details. Here you can see my fluffy hair, but it didn't work as well as I wanted to. Then I just used a brush and used the pigment of the Posca pen to do that. That was so much easier because the Posca pen would not want to paint on gouache. And here you can see that I got rid of those details. That's the fun part with gouache that is water soluble, because with acrylic gouache I couldn't have done that, but with water soluble gouache you just go over it and blend it until it's gone. That's a really nice thing actually. You have some more control over your mistakes. You can just get rid of them quite easily. And I made this kind of gradient here, and yeah, then I added in more lines and details to our bushes and the kind of bay area. I really don't know what it is in the end. I just simplified everything so much and added in some details here to the water as well, just some highlights with a white color. And then here I added this brick texture to our concrete just to make it look a little bit more interesting. So now it's not concrete anymore, it's bricks. And I think that it looks way cuter now because you can't see that the paint would not want to look decent here. And then I removed the tape, and this was so satisfying. I think that it turned out really cute. And yeah, there's that. Please don't buy these paints. I did not like them, at least not for this style. I want to try them for another style soon. Maybe I'll like them more for a less illustrative style. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did so, please give it a thumbs up. Here you can see the detailed version of those two. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Goodbye.